So we've come all the way down to this Thursday, the 23rd of March. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frontier Opening Bell. I am boosting number 5 in Nigerian markets. Eked out another few points, 6 basis points on Wednesday midweek activities, as we saw a bit of gains on JITCO and a few other big names on the market trying to balance a few sell-offs that we saw on the local bourse. The BRVM down by just 2 basis points. The Egyptian market down by roughly 0.5%. The Nairobi stock market is still in the positive territory, but the gains begin to narrow a little bit from the top end of 2 to 3% down to below just around 1%, 0.87% specifically on Wednesday. The GSE still strong, 1.31% at 75,243. So let's move on quickly. Checking through the top stories in East Africa. The central bank in Kenya yesterday, under Patrick Njoroge, issued a new foreign exchange code for all the banks. You've got to read through the lengthy documents to find out what the Kenya Central Bank is up to when it comes to the rules guiding the foreign exchange market in Kenya. In the meantime, the Nairobi Securities Exchange listed on Wednesday Lab Trust Imara, a real estate investment trust fund. It's a real estate fund that is focused on the pension market in Kenya, and that is an iconic listing, which had the head of the African Securities Exchanges, who also doubles as the managing director and CEO of the BRVM in Cote d'Ivoire, traveling all the way to Nairobi to be part of that very important listing. Of course, Nairobi is the headquarters of ASEA Secretariat for all the exchanges, about 35 securities exchanges on the African continent, and we say congratulations. Mauritius Bank One Limited and International Finance Corporation, which is the private sector lending arm of the World Bank, is planning a climate resilience project in sub-Saharan Africa, while Somalia is likely to qualify for the IMF funding, food debt relief by the end of 2023. And Kakuzi, that iconic agro-allied company listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, reporting a profit surge of about 164%. And the sales that were robust, paying a dividend of about 24 shillings. Let's get on to West Africa with the market reacting gently to the central bank's 50 basis points rate hike on Tuesday to 18%. But good news came for Fidelity Bank, which is one of the most strongest tier 2 commercial bank in Nigeria, when Afreximbank issued a statement that it has released additional $180 million funding facility to Fidelity Bank for lending within the Nigeria space after the bank has successfully utilized the initial $125 million from the Trade Development Finance Afreximbank based in Cairo, Egypt. Fitch Ratings has upgraded Ghana's long-term local currency IDR from RD, which is a restrictive default, to CCC, and that is on the back of the news that the Central Bank of Ghana and the government of Ghana started repaying local bondholders on those restructured bond papers, that program that was concluded sometime in February. And that's some good news, as we saw a recovery in the currency, the cedi, since the start of the month of March. In Cameroon, the African Golden Bank has secured the approval of the Central African Banking Commissions to move on into business. And Ghana stocks dip as investors flock into treasury bills ahead of the Bank of Ghana's interest rates announcement. Take it all the way to South Africa. Of course, a couple of earnings still coming through from OUTsurance, for example, reporting a full year 2022 profit up about 150%, paying a dividend of 56.8 cents per share. And the Afreximbank, in conjunction with the BGFI Bank, says it successfully held a two-day conference, roadshow in Sao Tome and Principe Islands to promote trade finance between Afreximbank and with the country. The government were for Sao Tome and Principe were part of those 2-day roadshow, which the Afreximbank reported about. So February's inflation in South Africa came in at about 7%. Food inflation around 10.1%. That was really, really on the upside, and all eyes are now glued to how the central bank in South Africa, the SARB, will decide next week for this month monetary policy meeting. Let's see what happens, how the votes will go among the 7-member MPC of the SARB. Mozambique says it has submitted its first assessment to the Financial Action Task Force as far as the grey listing was concerned, from which Nigeria and South Africa were audit just a couple of weeks ago, but Morocco got excluded from the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force, which monitors illicit financial flows in many countries around the world. Now, Mozambique is looking to be removed from that list. Compliance assessment is now being delivered. The Central Bank of Zimbabwe, which is the Reserve Bank, has clarified its notification to the public as far as gold licensing fees concerned. The Central Bank said that gold refiners who are getting a license will be paying $200,000 for an annual license fees. For those who are doing as a buying agent to the refiners, will have to be licensed, and they'll pay $2,500 to obtain that. Let's check in with North Africa, shall we? With the bank Al-Maghrib, which is the central bank of Morocco, raising key rate 50 basis points on Wednesday to 3% because Morocco's inflation is on the upside. And today is the start of the holy month of Ramadan for a number of many North African countries, by the way. And inflation is expected to decelerate a little bit because of the fasting period. That's some of the outlook that we have in the news box. And Marriott Hotels in Egypt is leading the rest of the Africa as far as Marriott Hotels development is concerned. We're talking about 25,000 rooms in about 103 hotels in Egypt alone. Marriott has one of the largest footprints of hotels network on the continent. And that's according to a new survey, which was industry survey that was released a few days ago. And Libya's energy minister has dismissed a remark by the Tunisian president, Said, that Libya will be sharing, or that Tunisia will be sharing the Bouri oilfield with Libya. Libya's oil minister says there is absolutely nothing like that. Okay, let's leave it all there for this Thursday. Thank you, everyone, for watching the show. You can watch this show again on our YouTube. It's free. You can subscribe from Africa Reports, and you can go to our website, www.frontafricareports.com. Read up our stories, follow all that coverage that we're doing on a daily basis. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you soon.